Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to talk a little bit about a YouTube. If you follow bodybuilding on YouTube at all, social media, that kind of thing, you know this guy is Bostin Loyd. Boston got famous for a body transformation that he did, and then he posted, I believe, the drugs that he took to get that way. Boston comes from a family of bodybuilders. I know his mom, his competitor, still looks great. Just saw a video with Boston where he went to visit Dave Palumbo in the hospital. Dave was just raving about how good his mom looked. Now Boston's actually, here you can see the transformation on the left to right, how he started, what he ended up as now. He's going to tell you, he used synthol, he used lots of drugs, rotated compounds, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you can hear him talk about this in numerous videos. Here's a picture of him with the enhanced athlete guys. I think it's Dr. Tom Huge, or whatever the hell his name is, and then Coach Trevor. But you can see how big Boston really is here. He's obviously taller than these guys, and he looks pretty damn big there. So Boston's not a small guy. I mean, he's 6'1", so it's tough to fill out that frame. Now, Boston got famous, like I said, from posting his cycle online, and then his raw footage, where he had a video of himself, injecting hormones, and then of course everybody like Louis Marco, everybody on, all the pros, particularly Lee Priest, had a lot to say about Bostin Loyd. And in fact, I did a video, and here's the actual, like the screenshot or the start page, whatever you want to call it, for my video. Right here it comes up when you Google Bostin Loyd images. That's been a popular video for me, but I actually made a video where they had an insult showdown going back and forth. Lee had a lot of negative things to say about Bostin Loyd and vice versa. But actually, if you listen to interviews with Bostin Loyd, I mean, he's straight to the point. He's an honest dude. Seems like, a lot of the newer, or a lot of the old school guys don't like Bostin Loyd. But, I respect his honesty. I mean, he said some things like, drugs are more important than genetics. I don't necessarily know if that's true or not, although drugs are a huge part of bodybuilding. Now, you still got to have the structure and the genetics to be famous. I mean, there's a million guys in the gym taking drugs. So here's a picture of him when he was young. Like I said, he started off in a bodybuilding family. Here's another pic, and you can look these videos up online. A lot of you guys have seen this, but sitting next to Rich Piana. Now, Rich and Boston kind of got into it a little bit because Rich supposedly wanted Boston to use fake weights in a video shoot where they're throwing around some fake weights, big heavy fake weights. Boston didn't want to do that, which I respect. I mean, I respect that. And also, when you listen to Boston talk, he respects a lot of the old school guys like Dave Palumbo and those guys. I mean, he's honest, he's open, doesn't really get angry about things, so I respect that too. Here he is in that raw video. Now, this guy on the left here, I can't remember his freaking name, but he got arrested for selling drugs in New York, I think. Somebody helped me on that. But Boston's gotten into pretty good shape, for what he started with. I mean, you can go online, look up some of his contests, see the progress that he has made. Again, I don't hate the guy. In my video with Lee Priest, him and Lee Priest going at it, I talked about some things, or those two were going at it, and it looks like I don't like Bostin Loyd, but that's not the truth. Not the truth, It's just entertainment, man. So I actually enjoy listening to him. I think he makes some good points. Yeah, some things he says are a little off the wall, but it is what it is. I mean, you got to respect somebody that is shooting you straight on a lot of things, and because I mean, let's face it, guys. There's no doubt that professional bodybuilders use huge amounts of drugs. Okay, now they're genetic freaks to begin with. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But they use huge amounts of drugs. So, Boston's telling you what he had to use. Now, is that what everybody uses? Probably not. But make no mistake, these pro bodybuilders use a ton of drugs. And he actually has his own website, obviously. And there, of course, there's a video about him injecting, or showing him injecting steroid synthol, I believe. And he sells research cams and other things, online pump oil, synthol, I believe, and some peptides. And from what I understand, at least in a recent interview with Bostin, the company's doing quite well. So, but again, you know, Boston's kind of hanging in. He's making good money, and he's keeping his name out there. You know, YouTube does that. YouTube's pretty crazy because you don't have to be like a famous, successful bodybuilder to actually be famous in bodybuilding anymore. I mean, Rich Piana's a classic example of that. You got a guy like Louis Marco who's done no bodybuilding, who I think admits to never going to shows, and he's making a killing on YouTube just talking about bodybuilding because he knows bodybuilding. So, you know, YouTube makes people famous. It makes people money. I think I saw an interview where Rich Piana said that he makes $5,000 to $15,000 a month off of YouTube, which I thought was pretty crazy. I mean, but you have to have a lot of subscribers, obviously, and that kind of thing. So, but it makes people famous who really, you know, have done nothing to make them famous, you know, 30 years ago. But of course, these days, here's again is his transformation on the left, you know, what he ended up with on the right. Pretty impressive. And again, here's a pic with Lee Priest. These two. I'd like to see these two actually in a room talking. That would be pretty interesting. But yeah, so Bostin Loyd going to be around a long time, I have a feeling, just because he is a controversial character.